The topic we are going to discuss in this video is the power of forgiveness and unlocking your inner safe. I'll go into more detail about unlocking your inner safe in a few minutes, but first let's examine the word forgiveness. Most of you might think you already understand this word inside and out, but let's take a look anyway. I want to make sure that all of us are on the same page. The following are excerpts from the website wikipedia.com. Forgiveness is the intentional and voluntary process by which a victim undergoes a change in feelings and attitude regarding an offense. Lets go of negative emotions such as vengefulness, with an increased ability to wish the offender well. Forgiveness is different from condoning, failing to see the action as wrong and in need of forgiveness, or excusing, not holding the offender as responsible for the action, or pardoning, granted by a representative of society such as a judge, or forgetting, removing awareness of the offense from consciousness, and reconciliation, restoration of a relationship. In certain contexts, forgiveness is a legal term for absolving or giving up all claims on account of debt, loan, obligation, or other claims. Although there is presently no consensus for a psychological definition of forgiveness in the research literature, agreement has emerged that forgiveness is a process, and a number of models describing the process of forgiveness have been published, including one from a radical behavioral perspective. Dr. Robert Enright from the University of Wisconsin-Madison founded the International Forgiveness Institute and is considered the initiator of forgiveness studies. He developed a 20-step process model of forgiveness. Recent work has focused on what kind of person is more likely to be forgiving. A longitudinal study showed that people who are generally more neurotic, angry, and hostile in life were less likely to forgive another person even after a long time had passed. Specifically, these people were more likely to still avoid their transgressor and want to enact revenge upon them 2.5 years after the transgression. Studies show that people who forgive are happier and healthier than those who hold resentments. The first study to look at how forgiveness improves physical health discovered that when people think about forgiving an offender, it leads to improved functioning in their cardiovascular and nervous systems. Another study at the University of Wisconsin found the more forgiving people were, the less they suffered from a wide range of illnesses. The less forgiving people reported a greater number of health problems. The research of Dr. Fred Luskin of Stanford University and author of the book Learning to Forgive presented evidence that forgiveness can be learned. In 3 separate studies, including one with Catholics and Protestants from Northern Ireland whose family members were murdered in the political violence, he found that people who were taught how to forgive become less angry, feel less hurt, are more optimistic, become more forgiving in a variety of situations, and become more compassionate and self-confident. His studies show a reduction in experience of stress, physical manifestations of stress, and an increase in vitality. Based on these findings by Dr. Enright and Dr. Luskin, I think we can all agree that forgiveness is a very beneficial thing for our health. When you truly forgive someone, your body responds in a very positive way. Conversely, when you hold a grudge and you do not forgive, your body responds in a negative way. Every one of us have been wronged by someone at some point in our lifetime. It could be anyone from a complete stranger to a bully in school to close family members, including your parents. We must not forget that one of the most common people we must forgive are people we had past romantic relationships with. Maybe someone had cheated on you, or perhaps they were abusive physically and emotionally. Or they simply broke your heart. As I'm reading this, and you are listening to it, I know you are imagining in your mind who this person or possibly persons are that have wronged you either in your past or continue to this day. Now remain in the present moment. Do not let your ego rise to the surface. Control your emotions and do not get upset. If you feel emotions of anger and resentment rise to the surface, you clearly have not forgiven this person. You have buried it in what I call your inner safe. Every one of us has an inner safe that is buried deep down within our mind. Most of us have placed the memories of what this person did inside our inner safe. We have confused forgiveness with forgetfulness. This does not mean that you have completely forgotten the incident or person, but your ego has told you that as long as you do not think about it, you have moved on. Sadly, there are many of you that have suffered so much by someone that you believe it is unforgivable. You must become aware this is yet again your ego, and in an ironic twist, the fact that you have not forgiven this person still causes you suffering, and you are unaware of it. Almost as if this person is continuing to victimize you until you completely let it go. In fact, your ego will gain strength with every person you hold a grudge with. It will convince you that you have moved on from this person and you are no longer hurt by what this person did to you. It is very important for you to understand that forgiving somebody is a much different process than burying it within your inner safe. Many of us fill our inner safe with so many things and so many people that it shapes us into an impatient, cynical, and untrusting person. It will require a great deal of courage and strength for you to admit that you are one of these people. It is the ultimate test for you to be able to tame your ego. On the other hand, you can still be a very caring and compassionate person, but still need to forgive somebody from your past. So I have another exercise to help you overcome this issue once and for all. And to deal with anything in life, it must start with meditation. We must face our transgressors and our ego face to face. I will warn you again that this exercise will cause many negative thoughts and emotions. It will test your willpower and your pride. But I promise you, it is the only way for you to unlock your inner safe and truly forgive. I need you to find a photograph of the person that is in your mind. It can either be a printed photo or simply on your smartphone. Ideally, it will be a photograph of only this person and nobody else in the picture. If you can somehow zoom in on the person's face with your smartphone, do it so that only the person is taking up the entire screen. The area we need to focus all of our attention on is only the face and not the rest of the body. If you do not possess a photograph, I will need you to do this exercise completely with your eyes closed. This process will be slightly more difficult without a photograph. However, you have full capabilities in your creativity to picture the face of this person. You must find 10 to 15 minutes when you can be alone and be undistracted for this entire exercise. Always begin each exercise exactly like we did in step 2, but this time take at least 10 very deep breaths with your eyes closed to prepare your mind. Focus your attention on your chest as you inhale through your nose and you exhale through your mouth. If you have a photograph, open your eyes and make direct eye contact with this person. If you do not have a photograph, imagine this person's face in your mind and make eye contact as well. Remain in the present moment and be aware of the thoughts that go through your mind. Make particular note of what type of emotions initially creep up to the surface when you see this person's face. You must tame your ego in order to remain in control of your emotions. Hold your eye contact for as long as you possibly can and try your best to keep your thoughts empty without any type of judgment. Now I want you to think of all the different moments you can recall when this person caused you suffering. Replay those moments again in your mind. Even if the suffering is unimaginably evil, I need you to completely replay all the events in your mind again. It is okay for you to feel anger, and it is okay for you to feel like crying. In fact, if you feel the need to cry, I encourage you to do so. The act of crying is the sure sign that you are taming your ego. It is your ego that causes you to feel the emotions of anger. Your ego will make you get upset that you ever did this exercise and brought back these thoughts and emotions. Some of you with very strong egos may have never cried in your life about this person before. I especially encourage these people to let yourself cry. Now, this is not the end of the exercise. It is only step 1 in a 2-step process. After you have wept and gathered yourself again, restart the meditation by closing your eyes and take 10 very deep breaths. Clear your mind and do not have any thoughts during these 10 very deep breaths. Now open your eyes or imagine in your mind and make eye contact once again. Lock your eye contact for as long as you possibly can, then repeat the following words 10 times. I forgive you.